Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the County Seat. I'm your host, Chad Booth. We have a great panel today. We're going to be talking about things a little bit later in the show. I usually don't do this, but I'm going to start with a personal story today. It's relevant. About 10 years ago, I was out in my backyard. I was cutting the grass, and I thought I'd run over an animal. I hit something. I went back and looked, and I found in the grass, laying down low, this large, tubular, slimy-shaped thing with a cord in it. It looked like nothing I'd ever seen. In fact, it didn't even look like it was from this world. I even was wondering, have I encountered the first alien contact with a poppy seed that fell from outer space? And then I thought of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and I thought, I need to find out what this is. So I carefully dug up all three of them in my yard. I put them in a jar. I took them down to the extension office at the county. And they looked at them, and they sent them off to Logan. Well, that is where the extension office starts. Today, that is our topic. We are going to cover the Utah State University Extension Service, its relationship with the counties, but we need to first find out what it is, because what it is not is County Agent Mr. Kimball from Green Acres, who knows much less than the farmers and is basically a clown. These are very highly trained, educated people that are county agents. And where does that education come from? Let's find out from Derek Dowsett.
Have you ever walked past your county extension office and wondered what it was? You may have assumed it was some sort of outreach from Utah State University to get students to come to them. But it's really the other way around. These offices bring the resources of the university right to the community.
Our extension offices are always housed with county government. Extension Service is a joint partnership between the state of Utah, U.S. Department of Agriculture, and the counties. We're a resource. Our role in Extension is primarily education, and very literally our job is to extend the educational resources of the university out to the people who are paying the taxes that support the institution.
If you have questions about your garden, you can go to the Extension office. They'll find the answer for you. If you have questions about home finance or cooking or parenting, we have home economists that can help find the answers to what you need and keep the general public updated on the current research in those areas.
The funny thing is that these resources are all available to the public, but most people have no idea.
I never even thought to call my extension agent to find out how to plant a garden or you know, how to get kids involved in 4-H. So when I finally found the extension office, it's amazing how many resources are there.
Landscaping, water conservation, emergency preparedness. The list of extension services goes on and on. But it's not just for adults. 4-H, the most recognized extension service, is for the youth. And while some will tell you 4-H stands for horses, hounds, hogs, and hares, it's really more about head, heart, hands, and health.
4-H is a youth development program designed to help youth learn leadership, citizenship, and life skills. Traditionally, people have thought of 4-H as an agricultural-related program, but in today's society, it's not so much an agricultural-based program, but a youth development-based program. So we have a lot of project areas in science, robotics, photography. Really, 4-H can be anything. It's not about the project area, it's about positive youth development.
4-H is awesome, and you do a whole bunch of activities that are just really fun, and you do some service that's really fun too.
Don't be afraid to call your extension office. I mean, I didn't know, and I got started just to get my kids something to do.
Next time you walk past that door that says County Extension Office, peek in and see what's going on. You might be surprised by what you find. For the County Seat, I'm Derek Dowsett.
Thanks, Derek. Now you know the origins of the Extension Service. We are going to go into a little bit of detail, the relationship with the counties, why they're such a special organization, and see some of the other programs that they're involved in. And by the way, the Extension Service did get back to me in about a couple of days, in case any of you are wondering, and that slime was actually a fungus that grew, an unusual one, from watering too much. So I adjusted the sprinkler there. Aliens have never been back since. Stay with us. We'll be back with more of the County Seat in just a minute.
Rediscover your sense of adventure. Welcome to San Juan County. Discover the past. A change of place. Utah's San Juan County, where life is elevated.
The State of Utah School and Institutional Trust Lands Administration, SITLA, manages 3.5 million acres of Utah lands with the express purpose of providing financial support to further the education of Utah's students, while promoting local industry, oil and gas, even residential development, all at the same time. Through the careful use of trust lands, the School Land Trust Program will distribute nearly $37 million to Utah schools this year. The State of Utah School and Institutional Trust Lands Administration, building the state's permanent school fund.
The best part about raising children here in Vernal and the Uinta Basin is just the smaller community that makes you feel like when you go somewhere you know everybody.
It's not too big, it's not too small. We're close to the Wasatch Front if there's anything we need out there.
So we packed up our 3 kids and here we came to Uinta County, and what a great place it was. What a great move.
My job has offered me the ability to college educate all 3 of my children.
My father, he was an engineer for Chevron, retired 39 some odd years. And Jeff, my husband, it's the same way. He's always worked in the oil and gas, always had a job here.
Uinta Basin's been fantastic in supporting what we've tried to do both as a business and also in the development of mountain bike trails and the sport of mountain biking.
It's one of the big reasons why I live where I live is I'm able to run up to a beautiful place like this and spend some good quality time.
There's always plenty to do in Uinta County.
Welcome back to the County Seat. Our topic today is extension services in the county provided by Utah State University. Joining us for our discussion, we have Clark Israelson, who is an extension agent on agriculture from Cache County. We have Ralph Whitesides, professor at Utah State University that is tied to the extension service. And we have somebody who engages in agriculture and also happens to engage in county government, Commissioner Jim Withers from Millard County. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. Most people are going to have an image of the county agent as being Mr. Kimball from Green Acres, and that he walks around and he supposedly tells everything from about, you know, he tells Oliver Wendell Douglas how to start his tractor, how to feed Arnold the pig, how to grow alfalfa, but most people don't realize that extension agents really aren't county employees, or at least that's the case here in Utah. Could you explain the relationship between the counties and extension offices?
I am Mr. Kimball a few years later, not the movie star, of course, but I am a Utah State University employee. I am housed at the county offices in Cache County. Our county commissioners are very generous. They give us an operating budget. They provide some wonderful offices and classrooms, etc. We have an operating budget. We have support staff with secretaries, and it's really a good relationship. So when you talk about cooperative extension, it really is between the county, the state, and also the federal government.
So summing it up, you provide the talent, and the county provides the budget to operate, to provide services.
Yeah, that's a good representation. One of the interesting things about our blend is the federal component associated with that. A certain amount of federal dollars come to Utah every year, so faculty members like me, I have a responsibility to do specialist work around the state. So when Clark and other county agents have a question specific to my area of expertise, then I am on the campus in Logan. I travel the state. I work statewide with all of the counties and all of the agents to try to support them in what they do. In reference to the story that I gave at the very beginning of this show about the alien slime, which I put in a jar, and the agent in Salt Lake County took that from me and called me back and said what it was, it probably went to you. Didn't go to me, but it went to a specialist like me. My responsibility is in weeds. It sounds to me like your slime was a disease. So
probably the plant pathologist.
Yeah.
So how many agents are there in the county? I mean, how many do you have in Millard County?
We have one agent in the county who provides the information from Clark and from the university that when we have questions, we call him, we ask him, and he brings the information to us, which is really a benefit to us since we're so far away, that we have that county agent there that can help us with the questions we have for the experts that have expertise in certain areas, and so it works really good for the county.
And Trent is really pretty busy then, if he's the only agent in Millard County.
He is.
In Cache County, for example, I'm the agricultural extension agent. Right next door we have a horticulturalist that works with landscaping, gardening, etc. We also have a family consumer science agent that works very closely with families, consumers, on everything from finance to cooking, sewing, just strengthening families. And then we also have an agent that focuses on 4-H and youth development. And we're very fortunate in Cache County to have that. And that allows us to be somewhat specialists on the county level, in addition to having the resource of the specialists on campus.
So how do those determinations make that you've got 4 and he's got 1?
Obviously, that's an administrative decision, but I think it has to do quite a lot with population. And I'm sure that a good part of that has to do with the willingness of, not to say that Millard County's not willing, but some counties perhaps would request more help from the university than others. I'm really not sure all the details, but I know being in Cache County, I am very happy I don't have to cover all the bases.
Well, that's very good. I think that gives us a basic idea of the structure. We're going to come back and talk about the breadth of service that the Extension Services provides across the board when we come back here on the county seat. Stay with us.
If you haven't been to Starvation in a while, you're in for a great surprise. New campsites, new cabins, and beach improvements await your next visit. Just 3 hours away, but a world away from the Wasatch Front in Duchesne County. Starvation State Park is located 4 miles northwest of Duchesne, just off US Highway 40. Duchesne County. Close enough for business, far enough to get away.
Believe it or not, summer isn't far away, and neither is Juab County. There's no need to travel far to find the perfect family adventure. Boating Yuba Reservoir, exploring Mount Nebo, riding Little Sahara. Save your gas this summer and stay in your own backyard. Juab County. It'll change your family forever.
Kanab, base camp for your southern Utah adventures. You belong in Kanab.
Let's be honest, you don't know much about Beaver County. Well, let me tell you about it. It's the birthplace of outlaw Butch Cassidy and inventor Philo T. Farnsworth. Some of the best skiing in Utah is at Eagle Point. You've got camping, Canyon Breeze Golf Course, Crusher and the Tushers, Beaver Territorial Courthouse, snowmobiling, renewable energy, Pioneer Car Show, Squeaky Cheese, ghost towns to explore, best water in the country, Paiute ATV trails, Old Frisco Kilns, horse racing, hunting, fishing, and it's a good place to live. Beaver County, mountains of fun. I could tell you more, but why don't you come and see it for yourself?
Welcome back to County Seat. We are talking about USU Extension Services. As you go out across the state, people commonly refer to them as the county agents. They are agricultural agents. They provide a broad variety of services, and sometimes it's not an ongoing service, it's a specialized service. And during the break, we had started a discussion about the big pig farm, shall we say, in Millard County. How was USU involved in that?
When it was proposed that a large swine operation come to Utah, some of the interests were, well, where should we put it? Where would it fit? And where would it be possible to get the feed? And where was there a railroad siding that made it possible? And so in the process of doing that, Utah State University, the county agents, in concert with a lot of commissioners in Beaver County and Millard County and Iron County, looked hard at, does it make sense to do that, and is this a thing we would like to have happen? And ultimately, the swine operations, primarily from North Carolina, came in, built a large operation there, and it's provided income and jobs and tax base that wasn't there before. But USU Extension was involved in some of the decision making on that.
What is the breadth of services that the Extension office has available?
It's really pretty broad. In fact, wherever a need is identified, we as an organization do our best to try to respond. And sometimes that's a cooperative effort where we create as we go, but we have access not only to specialists on campus on a state level, but we also have a national outreach as well. And there's really quite a network of resources there that are available to individuals or families that every citizen can take advantage of.
What is the reason that it's USU and not University of Utah or some other institution that's providing the service statewide?
Utah State University is the land-grant school. Because we're the land-grant school, we have a threefold mission. Our mission is to provide research. Originally, that research was primarily in the mechanic arts and agriculture, and then we were to do teaching, and we do a lot of teaching, and the opportunity there is to teach all of the basic sciences as well as the liberal arts so that our students graduate and have a better grasp of what's going on in the world. Ultimately, we also adopted the extension model, outreach, taking the university to the people.
What part of that, I mean, help me understand what a land-grant university is for some people. That may be a first-time phrase.
Land-grant universities were established in every state in the United States. They were established in the 1860s, and the idea came from a representative from Vermont who thought that at the time only Ivy League schools offered higher education. And the children, he referred to them as the children of the farmers and the mechanics, couldn't afford to go to school. So he proposed building schools by giving a grant of land to each of the states. So each senator and representative received a 30,000 acre grant, and then the states did with that what they needed in order to build a land grant school. That's where the terminology came from. And that's why we have the stewardship to do the extension, the research, and the teaching, and we are a, quote, public institution and the land grant institution. And every one of the states has a land grant institution. And a lot of countries look at our success. Our original success was primarily in the agriculture area, where we did agricultural research. We did it at the turn of the last century, the early 1900s, and we did research on the campus, but simply knowing what's going on the campus didn't help the farmers. Somehow the information had to get out of the research arena into the farmer's field. And so we created the Extension Service, and we put Extension as a component of the university. Other countries have looked at this, and many have tried to model after that. But as I visited some of the other countries, one of the things they've done is they have research in one area, and they have agricultural extension in another area. They don't respond to the same people. Part of the reason for our success is we're all housed in one university.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
You know, and the huge plus for like residents of Millard County who are a long ways away from the university is we have an opportunity to visit with our extension agent, explain our problems. He can contact those at the university and get that information back to us to help us so that we can manage the situation at hand rather than us trying to get in contact with the university ourselves. So the program really works good for an outreach like Millard County, where we have programs for our kids like 4-H that all goes through the university, and they have opportunities to go to classes and learn those things that will help them be, you know, to become adults and grow up and be involved in agriculture. So it's a great plus for us to have that opportunity.
Well, Jim, how long does it take? Okay, so you're a dairy farmer. You also grow alfalfa crops, most likely to feed your dairy cows. Is it like a day thing where you can get right to the experts and get right back?
Well, usually if you have a situation where you need to have a fast turnaround, I can call Trent Wild, who is our extension agent, and within several hours he can have at least a preliminary answer for my question. If there has to be tests and stuff done, he can you know, arrange those also. And so it just makes it so much faster and so much easier for the farmer to be able to have that turnaround. And it's always nice to work with someone you know. And so when you have an extension agent who's been in your community for years, you're very comfortable calling them and saying, this is my problem, you know, what can we find out about it, or where can we go for some help? And so to have someone in the community who enjoys living there, who wants to be there, is a huge plus.
What I'd like to do when we come back is talk about some of the more urban applications that might apply to USU and the extension services, and we'll do that when we return to the county seat. Stay with us. You're on the county seat. We're talking about USU and the extension service, its relationship with the county. It's been a really good conversation so far. If you've missed it, you can go online and watch it at thecountyseat.tv. Tell your friends about it, and we'll be right back after this commercial break. Stay with us.
I didn't order this. Compliments of the lady in gold. Hello, trouble.
Anything worth doing in this quiet little town?
You look like the kind of man that could show a girl a good time.
You strike me as the kind of girl that likes a manicure and a massage.
How's that for a manicure?
I hate golf.
I was hoping for something a little more vigorous.
Vigorous, I can do.
And I thought you'd be riding side saddle.
What? I'm gonna regret this. How about that manicure?
Carbon County is typically known for its industry and coal production. But did you know that Utah's Castle Country has something for everyone? The motocross track has been acclaimed as the most popular in Utah, with a variety of technical and natural terrain, and even includes a pee-wee track. Visit castlecountry.com for more information.
You go through the day-to-day repeating what you did yesterday. Don't you wish you could access that piece of your life that's missing? Find the beauty, serenity, family fun, or anything else that's missing from your life in the Cedar City, Bryan Head area. Gain access to your adventure, whether it's camping, hiking, the arts, festivals, or just a getaway. Visit ScenicSouthernUtah.com for details on all the adventures that you can access in scenic Southern Utah.
Welcome back to the county seat. We're talking about extension service, in particular Utah State University Extension Service. I want to make sure I got that out clearly because I made a general vague reference to the U in our pre-show meeting, and I about got thrown out of my own meeting. So anyway, we appreciate all the service that you do through the extension service. I wanted to find out what urban people can do to tap into it, because most likely, I mean, my image, until I had an experience with the extension agent, was that this is an agricultural program and it really doesn't have any impact on city dwellers. So what are some of the things that the urban populations can expect?
Community gardens, for example. We have gardens in the Hyde Park area, also in the Nibley area. For individuals that live in a small apartment, they maybe have no place to practice their green thumb. They want to have a little chance to grow some vegetables for the family table, etc. That's been very popular. Also, with our family consumer science, family finance is a major concern. And Adri Roberts, our agent, has ongoing classes teaching family finance for those who are just getting married and starting a family, or those that might be in a tight spot, having been married for a while. Also teaching food sense classes, how to live on a limited budget and have balanced meals, delicious meals. She teaches a class every Thursday. We have standing room only with individuals that come to learn how to cook easy and nutritional meals. So it's really quite diverse.
It's fairly wide. As an example, if obviously I brought in slime, I brought in a spider once to identify what kind of spider
We
I had in
identify
the
lots
yard.
of insects and spiders. Yes.
But if I've got like some kind of moss growing on a tree and I'm concerned about its health, you know, usually you call the arborist and $150 later he's telling you what need be. Is that type of service available through the extension agent as well?
It is, and we typically charge a little bit for diagnostics, and also we have to be careful that we don't try to run out to every home because it's impossible to cover all the bases. But we do have a lot of people actually bring a sample into the office, and in most cases we're able to identify where we're not. We have all of the specialists on campus, and it's very rare that we're not able to be helpful almost within hours, as Jim was saying.
Let's try and sum up the value of this service. I mean, as a county commissioner, I'm going to ask you a dual question here. You are a government agency. How hard would it be for Millard County to, as a rural county, operate without an extension agent?
Well, it would be really unaffordable for us to do that without the opportunity to share the agents around. We do share in the financial burden of that now, but without the extension, we would not be able to financially be able to afford to do that.
From the standpoint of the university, is the extension service of value to the university in your research efforts?
Extension is huge in our research efforts. In many cases, county agents like Clark, who work with farmers like Jim, identify a problem that we see out in the state. All of a sudden, it's an ag problem. It might be a homeowner problem. And that problem comes back to the campus, and we realize that we don't know the answer to this problem, or we don't have a good solution to this problem. It redirects our research efforts. We then work on the research problem, then we put together an answer to the question, and then we take it back out to the community. In some cases, that takes us several years to do the research and get the answers. But some of our best work has come because of this two-way street, input coming in from the outside and then the research information going back out.
And that's a really good point you make. It goes both directions.
Yeah.
Well, I think that symbiotic relationship where each are contributing is probably part of the reason that we've had so much success. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today on the County Seats. It's been most informational. It makes me want to go out and plow up my back acres of grass and take the lawn out and maybe start a garden. And then I'd have to call them for help all the time. Thanks for joining us on the County Seat. Remember, local government is where your life happens. Get involved. Watch this program. Tell your friends about it. If you can't catch on this Channel 4 broadcast, look at most of the cable systems across the state and local television stations. It airs numerous times, and you can always check it out online, thecountyseat.tv. We'll look for you next week on the County Seat. Thank you.